month. So today I am finally here to do my February wrap-up with you. I'm pretty pleased with the books that I've read in February. Unfortunately, I had 5 books on my TBR for February and I only completed 4 of them. It was kind of a weird month for me. I actually didn't complete any books. It took me almost the entire month to complete even a single book, and then within 2 days I completed like all 4 books. Otherwise, it was a pretty good month. I didn't have any reads that I hated this month or had to stop. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with it, and so, without further ado, let's just dive right into this. The first book that I completed, again, I didn't complete it until the end of the month, but I still got it done, was my book club study for the Broken Book Club, and that was Wicked. This was our January and February book, Wicked by Gregory Maguire, and I really took a long time to go through this book. When I first picked it up, I was enjoying it. Like, I was enjoying the writing and the storytelling ability and just the theme and going through this perspective of figuring out why this witch was evil. But the more I got into the book, the more really dry sections I was finding, and I was finding that there were a lot of areas in this book that I feel like he spent more time developing than was maybe necessary. There were a lot of really just bizarre things in it. There were a lot of just like political and religious things happening in this book that were important to the story, and in the end it was one of those things that I appreciated looking at the picture as a whole, but while I was reading it, it was just very dry. So I did struggle with this one a little bit. I still gave it in the end a 3 out of 5 stars because I did enjoy the theme. I always do enjoy taking what we think is the villain and kind of giving them some backstory so that we understand them better. I think that's a very real life reflective quality. I'm glad I read it in the end, but I'm not rushing. I'm certainly not rushing to read the sequels anytime soon. The next book that I completed was my audiobook for the month, and that was A Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I really liked this book. I was into the characters, I was into the plot, I was just into it. I was into the storytelling abilities of the author. I really like this one, and I'm excited to dive into the sequel. So this book is about a girl who's lined up to be the heir to her throne, and her parents are setting her up in an arranged marriage with a prince she's never met, and she is just having none of that. So she runs away. Little does she know she's being followed by the prince that she was engaged to be married to, and she was also followed by an assassin that was hired to kill her. And so these two men kind of become ingrained in her life. She doesn't know that who either of them are, and so a little bit of romance and a love triangle kind of sparks. I really liked the execution of this book. Sometimes love triangles can be kind of cheesy, but I thought this one was really well done. The only interesting thing about my read of this book was that the entire first half of the novel, I had the 2 men confused. I thought the assassin was the prince and the prince was the assassin, and of course that's going to entirely alter my perspective of the book. Maybe it was purposeful and maybe I read it exactly the way I was supposed to, but I'm thinking I was more so just confused. The only real criticism that I have is that there was like a sufficient amount of character development with the main character, Leah. I was satisfied with that. I feel like I really know her as a character, as a person, but I wasn't satisfied with the amount of character development that I got with the assassin and the prince. I feel like I would have liked to see a little bit more background story with them, but I do feel like that's where the series is leading. Like, we will find out a little bit more about them, about their backstory, about why they do what they do, why they are the way they are. That's what I'm really interested in. Overall, I'm still gonna give this one a 5 out of 5 stars because I really enjoyed it, and I feel like my one criticism is probably going to be solved in future books. So 5 out of 5 stars for A Kiss of Deception. The next book I completed was my Kindle read over the last couple months, and that was The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. And I sort of trudged through this one as well a little bit at first, especially in the storyline surrounding the battle at Helm's Deep and also maybe a little bit of Merry and Pippin in the forest or with the orcs. It wasn't so much when Merry and Pippin found the Ents as it was just dry when they were with the orcs. That was drawn on a long time, I really felt like. So the first half of the book was a real struggle for me. However, when I got to Frodo and Sam's plotline, completely changed for me. That was just exciting from beginning to end for me. I was drawn in the whole time by all three characters. So that was Frodo, Sam, and Gollum. I was really enjoying the writing and the storytelling and just everything surrounding their storyline in this book. So once I got there, my perspective on this book completely changed, and so it was very refreshing for me to not like this entire novel. This book definitely ended on a very, very positive note for me, and I think in the end I'm going to give this one 4 out of 5 stars. And the final book that I completed in February was Graceling by Kristen Kishore, and this book I'm actually doing a live review on with my friend Kirsty Motichka, and I will let you know more details about the date when we know the date for the live show. I'm just waiting on her to finish up the novel, but we decided a while back that we wanted to do this book together and do a live review on it, and so I'm really excited for that, and stay tuned. We would love to hear your opinions on it in the chat room during the live show, so if you've read this book or feel like you could power through it within the next few weeks, please, by all means, do so and then join us and give us your opinions on it. But this book is about a girl named Katza. It's a young adult fantasy novel, and Katza lives in a world where certain people are graced with like extreme gifts. So it's not just talents like we see in like real life, but like they have talents to the extreme. Katza, she is graced with the power to kill. She is the niece of the king of this one court, and instead of sort of like living her life as a royal, kind of like as she like her birthright designates, she's just being used by her uncle to carry out vengeful missions and stuff like that. But one day she meets a boy named Poe. He is graced with combat skills. She just delved into this big adventurous story, and that is what I liked best about this novel. I'm not going to go too much into what I thought about it because I want you all to come and watch the live review and discuss it with me, but I really liked this book. I powered through it in just like no time at all, and it was really a breath of fresh air after the struggle I had with Wicked. The storyline, it was just a classic adventure quest book. It really reminded me of when I played Skyrim for the first time, just that feel of going on a quest. It was a really fun and easy read, and I would highly recommend it to anybody that's just looking for a good young adult fantasy novel that will just be easy for them to get through. So highly recommend this book, but that's all I'm going to say about my thoughts on it because I want you guys to join me and Kirsty for our live show soon, and I will get back to you as soon as I know the live show date for that, so stay tuned. And that is it for my February wrap-up. I'm pretty pleased with what I got through. I wish I would have got through that 5th book. It would have been an audiobook, but I'll just put it on a future TBR and it'll be fine. I overall really enjoyed my reads for this month. So if you have any thoughts about the books that I read this month, leave me a comment down below or give me a shout out on Twitter. Also, I'd like to hear about the books that you read in February. I'm going to release my March TBR very soon, and it's very special, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'm hoping you're having a really good March so far, and I hope it's as beautiful where you live as it is here. We'll see you next time. Bye!